Hey, so Ariana is out of surgery, home, resting. I figured that I'd come and share some of this information that I've been doing a lot of research on and a bunch of supplements that I have either been taking for some time or started taking. So she and her little sister are playing now and she's resting her feet. So thank you for all the thoughts and prayers and messages. I appreciate that. But I did want to go through some stuff that I've personally gone through where you might either be experiencing some of these symptoms and not sure what's wrong, or you might know somebody. But I think it's always good to educate yourself because education is your power. I really want to make it really clear. And let me start out with this. I respect the medical field. You know, my husband was in the medical field for a long time until he retired and came home to work full time in our health coaching practice. But at the same time, you need to be your own advocate because, hey, Jack, there's going to be people that you see, doctors and PAs and all of that, who might either have a limited experience or knowledge on the issue that you're dealing with. They might be closed-minded and not an out-of-the-box thinker, which is never really what you want. Or they might just not really be treating you based on your symptoms, and they might be treating you based more on your blood work, which any integrated outside the box big thinker is going to know is totally wrong. So I'm going to relate this to my issue, which is Hashimotos, adrenal fatigue, all of that. However, there's so much of what I'm going to tell you right now that you can relate to yourself. So if you don't have the specific autoimmune diseases that I have, you might have something, like I said, you might know someone who does, or something I'm going to say is going to be applicable to your life. So bear with me while I talk about Hashimotos, and then we'll get to some stuff that might really be helpful to you. If you do have Hashimotos, leave me a shout out here because I understand you. Anyways, there are 5 stages of Hashimotos. Okay, or really 5 stages to any autoimmune disease. There are so many autoimmune diseases that start out as a small trigger and your doctor will tell you you're just fine until you're totally dying, and that's when they're going to medicate you. So the first step, or the first stage of Hashimoto's or any autoimmune disease is having the genetic predisposition. Hey, Julie, I am so happy to hear that. Awesome. Hey, Rebecca. So the person has a genetic predisposition to develop Hashimoto's. But they don't yet have any thyroid disease. They don't even have an autoimmune disease yet. They don't have any attacks on their thyroid. And their thyroid is functioning totally normally. Okay. Number 2, the immune system begins to recognize the thyroid gland as a foreign invader to the body. So the immune system and the immune cells will start to get lodged in the thyroid gland, and the person will then have symptoms, which we're going to talk about the long, lengthy list of symptoms, some of them, but TSH, T3, T4 will be normal. And that's if you're so lucky that you have a doctor who even knows to test T3 and T4. Many of them are testing TSH, which is like looking at a car that's engine light is on and just checking the gas. It's so ridiculous that you have to beg your doctors to test something that is part of the diagnosis, but that's a whole nother story. And so those might present as normal, but you might be seeing antibodies show up on your lab tests, okay? So if you're feeling really, really sick and your TSH, T3, and T4 are looking good, and now you want to get total T3, total T4, and free T3 and free T4. Don't let your doctor get away with just testing the totals. Anyways, if you're still not feeling good, get your antibodies checked. You might have antibodies with normal looking labs for now because the 3rd stage of Hashimoto's is the thyroid can no longer compensate and meds will be needed. However, your doctor might still not give them to you. Have you ever been told that your labs are borderline? Well, honey, you're sick and you don't have a good doctor. You need a new doctor who will prescribe medication even when things are borderline. Now, keep in mind that the lab ranges are totally whacked too. They're going to let you get up to like a 5 or a 6 where they are finally like, oh yeah, you might be sick. Well, if you're at a 4, you might feel like death. And also everyone has their own range. You have to listen to what your body is telling you, not what a lab or a doctor is telling you. And remember this, people, the doctor works for you. They are your employee, not the other way around. So if a doctor's telling you stuff that you don't want to hear or that you know is wrong and they don't know how to think outside the box, you fire them and you find someone else. And again, I respect the medical field. I have an incredible endocrinologist. We have an amazing working relationship, but he doesn't own me. He listens to me and I say, hey, why don't you order this? Or maybe we should try this medication or something like that. It's not the other way around. I've had all of that. I saw 12 endocrinologists until I finally realized that I needed someone who thought differently and treated differently. So don't be afraid to stick up for yourself and be your own advocate, because you're the only one in the room who's going to do that. Okay. But being that you might be having your TSH get a little wacky, anywhere from a 2 to a 10. I was at a 9 when I was diagnosed, and I was literally dying. Well, I felt like I was. Your T4 and T3 might still look okay, but you have what is now called subclinical hypothyroidism. You should be medicated. Your doctor might not agree to it, in which case you're going to go find somebody else. Okay. Now, the fourth stage of Hashimoto's is your thyroid gland is now in full failure. It loses the ability to create thyroid hormones. And that's when most inside the box thinkers, the people who are like, oh yeah, now your TSH is wacky, will finally give you medication. At this point, you've been sick for so long that you almost feel like you're losing hope. That's why I like for people to get medicated as soon as they know that they have Hashimoto's and their TSH starts to get a little weird. Before the T3, T4 gets out of balance, start medicating then. Don't wait till someone's super sick. It's like if someone has diabetes and the doctor's like, well, you know, it's not terrible. You're not dying yet. He might not be taking you seriously, and that's okay. This is real to you. I believe in you. Go find a new doctor. And then, you know, so much of your thyroid has been destroyed, and that's when everything's off and your T3, T4 is low, your TSH is crazy high, and that's when your doctor will finally like agree, oh yeah, now you need meds. Don't let them trick you into telling you that, oh, it's not a big deal and it's just a little pill, you're going to be fine. No, hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's is a huge deal. And the more you educate yourself and empower yourself, the better you're going to feel down the line. Now, the fifth, and hopefully not the next step, and I'm hoping I don't, but many times autoimmune diseases come in twos. And so a lot of people who have Hashimoto's will then develop something like lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, stuff like that. But let's hope not. Okay, now what are some of the symptoms of Hashimoto's and hypothyroid, right? So there's a list of like 1,000 different things. I'm going to read out some of the main ones that you might be recognizing and you might be experiencing. A goiter. So your neck has like swelling and inflammation, and your thyroid is actually big. So your neck, you might notice it in your neck. I've had a big goiter since I'm about 9 or 10 years old, and I was only diagnosed when I was 24, maybe. Constipation, hair loss, fatigue, weight gain, achy muscles, high cholesterol, feeling cold, joint pain, infertility, puffy, pale face, prolonged periods, depression, anxiety, brittle nails, insomnia, and dry skin. If you have any of those, consider that there might be something else going on. And Hashimoto's is extremely, extremely common, sadly. I run a group for hypothyroid and I have almost 1,000 people in there, and I don't even keep it that active. That's how sad that is, you know? Now, where does it come from? So there's always a precursor. Hey, Beth, there's always something that is going to be the thing that sets it off. Okay, for some people it's pregnancy, for some people it's high stress, for some people it's getting sick all the time, and the other thing that people ignore is leaky gut. So leaky gut can cause autoimmune diseases, and it's most likely that it is causing autoimmune diseases. If you ever notice, many times autoimmune diseases will start out after like a huge bout of like gut issues, like a really bad stomach flu or something like that. So the bacteria that lives in our digestive tract plays a huge, huge role in our overall health. Okay, we are made up more of bacteria in the microbiomes that are in our gut than we are of human cells. So depression, anxiety, ADHD, eczema, frequent colds, food sensitivities, arthritis, headaches, constipation, diarrhea, fatigue, adrenal issues, autoimmune diseases, bloating, all of that is caused by not having a healthy gut. So I'm going to start showing you some of the different things that I've been using and why they're important or why you might want to consider using them. Let's talk about collagen first, okay? So this is the one that I just got. I know it's backwards, okay? It's by Vital Proteins. It's collagen peptides, is collagen in powder form, and we're going to talk about that in a second. Hey, Gloria. But basically, this is grass-fed, unflavored. You put a little bit into your water, and you drink it. So this is dairy-free, gluten-free, all the good stuff. Now, why use collagen? So collagen is primarily compounded of, and I'm actually going to read this to you because they're big fancy words that I cannot memorize. Glycine, proline, alanine, hydroxyproline, and these are all found in your bones, muscles, skins, and tendons. Collagen is the most abundant protein in the body. So in powder form, like I said, it is called collagen peptides. So why collagen? So collagen can heal damaged cell walls and soothe the lining of your intestines, so it will give you better digestion. Glycine will keep the joints flexible and able to withstand shock, so that relieves joint pain. Collagen will regenerate skin scales, which will improve density and regulation of moisture, so your skin looks better. A lot of times people report back that they have less acne, less wrinkles, things like that. It provides amino acids to build keratin for stronger hair and nails, and it is high in protein, so collagen will boost your metabolism and muscles. So many people will say that it helps them lose weight or just be healthy in your gut. So here, always keep in mind that yes, I'm a health coach, and yes, I help people lose weight, but the end goal is to always be healthy. So now collagen will also reduce inflammation, repair tissue, so it will shorten recovery time and speed healing. So a lot of my friends that have been having tummy tucks or different kind of surgeries have been taking collagen, and they do report back that it helps their healing. Now, 3 grams of glycine will help improve your quality of sleep, which is in collagen. So it's really a very well-rounded, almost a magical powder, and it's really good for your body. And so I would highly suggest that you guys take it. It has no side effects. So it's a really good thing. Now, the other thing, so all of these are moving parts that will move together in either causing an autoimmune disease or exacerbating an autoimmune disease, or just all in all making you not feel good if you're the kind of person who is looking for the next step in health. Keep in mind that iron and ferritin is a really, really good thing. A lot of doctors are not testing it, or they're just testing their iron, but they're not testing your iron saturation. They're not testing your ferritin. They're not testing all the other moving parts, part of your iron lab. So again, be your own advocate. Do your own research. Don't come in with Dr. Google, but come in with actual facts. Like, don't let your doctor argue with you. You, again, are the consumer and the boss. They work for you. So having low iron or low ferritin can mimic hypothyroid symptoms. So you can have decrease in immune function, gut issues, hair loss, fatigue, all those things. So what am I doing for my iron? I got my iron up. I could not get my iron up no matter what because I have leaky gut. So my body does not absorb things well. I did a lot of research and I found this on Amazon. I find that the best things come from over the counter in these types of situations because it's usually something that like Big Pharma would have loved to have taken and made your insurance company cover and have it all like under one company so they could raise the price to whatever they want. But when you get things like, and I'll show you the other things I take are from a company called Pure Encapsulations, and they would not allow Big Pharma to take them over, which I love. This is from Mega Food. I've talked about this before. It is called Blood Builder, and it has a whole bunch of stuff in it. It has vitamin C, vitamin B12, folate, iron, and there's beetroot in there. But I have never been able to absorb iron well before. It usually hurt my stomach. It would cause constipation issues. And you know how it is when you have low iron and you want to take iron and now you're all messed up. So this stuff, I've been able to absorb iron. I got my iron up, I want to say it was at an 18 and now it's at a 92. I'm not at my optimal levels yet, but my doctor's so impressed with this. This is about $9 a bottle. I stock up on 2 like at a time, so I never run out of it. I literally travel with this stuff. So if you're low in iron, consider getting this. And if anybody would like, let me know. I can link stuff below. Now, the other thing you're going to want to take is vitamin D3. The one I am taking is by Pure Encapsulations. I take 10,000 a day. Your doctor will probably tell you to take vitamin D without the 3. That is totally wrong. Vitamin D by itself, vitamin D2 will not help your body. You need D3. Pure Encapsulations I like because it's gluten-free and it has nothing else in it other than just what your body needs. So this is 5,000 units. I take 2 of them. I'm very low in D. I cannot get myself up higher than a 30, where I really wouldn't want to be closer to like a 75, 80. So I just upped it. I had taken a break, which was silly. So now I'm back on that, 2 a day. Next time I get my vitamin D tested, I really hope that it will be up. Now, you know why vitamin D is important. You know, it's good for your bones. It's good for depression. It's good for all those things. We're not going to get into that. The last thing I'm going to get into is adrenal fatigue. So adrenal fatigue, let me explain to you what adrenal fatigue is. A lot of your doctors are going to tell you that they don't believe in it. Remember what I told you about doctors. I respect the medical field, but find somebody who respects you as much as you respect them. Find somebody who will listen to you. Find somebody who will treat your symptoms and not just your blood work, okay? I really, really want you guys to hear me because I spent 12 years trying to find somebody, literally sitting in this guy's office, the guy in the city who I see. If anyone wants to see him, let me know. I almost wanted to cry, which is so not my personality, but he listened to me. And when I said, well, I have this, that, and the other thing, but my blood levels look fine. And he's like, oh, that's not the way this works, you know? And it feels so good to be listened to. So please find somebody who will listen to you, okay? So what happens when you're stressed out, so you're going through something really stressful, or you are an anxious person, or whatever it is, you have stress, your body is going to create more cortisol to deal with it. Now, when your body creates more cortisol, it fatigues your adrenals because it starts to steal from all your other hormones, like pregnenolone and DHEA, which we're going to talk about in a second. And now your cortisol levels are stealing. It's literally called like a stealing hormone because it fatigues your adrenals, but it reduces all the other hormones that you need for good hormone production. And now you're high in cortisol, you're exhausted, you're stressed out, you're adrenal fatigue is bad. You're really, really tired. You get stressed out like fight or flight all the time, meaning you have a really hard time dealing with things that wouldn't be so stressful for normal people, but it stresses you out. So you're late for work and you're freaking out. So you go from 0 to 100. If any of this sounds familiar, please Google adrenal fatigue. It's a real thing. Your doctors will be very unlikely to test for it, but it's real. And if you do a 4-point saliva test and you notice that your cortisol is spiking or dropping at weird times during the day, it's supposed to be high in the morning and then slowly drop off. If you're having insomnia, it's because your body's creating so much cortisol to make up for all the stress that you're going through, and now your cortisol's too high when you're supposed to be going to sleep and you're all hyped up. It happens to me all the time. At 9 o'clock, I start to crash and then I'm back up and I'm like, yes, let's go do another day. So anyways, the way you're going to know if that's happening to you is a 4-point saliva test. You can do it by Canary Labs. You can do it yourself. You don't have to ask a doctor to do it for you. My doctor tested pregnenolone, cortisol, and DHEA as well. So let me explain how this works. I have my little chart here. You have your adrenal glands. Your adrenal glands create 3 different kinds of things, but the one we're going to talk about today is cholesterol. Having high cholesterol is not good. Having low cholesterol is also not good. Why? Because if you don't have enough cholesterol, you're not creating enough pregnenolone. Now, pregnenolone creates DHEA over here and progesterone over here. Now, progesterone will create cortisol. Okay, so when you're high in cortisol, you're draining your pregnenolone and you're draining your progesterone. Now, over here on this side, the DHEA is creating your testosterone and it's creating your estrogen. So if your hormone levels are all over the place, you can be pretty sure that your pregnenolone is not where it should be. Pregnenolone, let's talk about that. This is the company that will not allow Big Pharma to take over them. You can buy it on Amazon for like $20. I have a bunch of bottles of this in the house. I take 60 right now a day. I'm going to try to get myself up to 100. Google it. There is some crazy, crazy stuff about pregnenolone. They call it the, what do they call it? Like the grandmother hormone, because it creates everything else. When you are good on your pregnenolone, you're going to be good on everything else. However, sometimes you're also going to be low on DHEA. I take DHEA. 25 is the usual dose. That's what I'm taking. Some people take it in the morning because that's when you want all your cortisol to be created. Some people take it in the evening. Really, I would leave that up to your doctor. But pregnenolone is needed to make cortisol. Now, when you give your body extra pregnenolone, it will help with the production of cortisol, so you're not fatiguing your adrenals trying to create the cortisol when it's really just stealing all your other hormones. So give your body some pregnenolone, give your body that cushion to allow it to deal with all the things it needs to deal with. So, you know, when, like I said, when someone's under constant stress, your adrenals have to build cortisol to help it deal with everything else. However, your other hormones are going to suffer and drop. So when you supplement with pregnenolone, It helps there be enough to go around for everybody. So don't self-medicate, but these are things to keep in mind. You don't have to go through life feeling like crap. No one should convince you that this is normal. I was told that I was normal for so long. I was not normal. And I should not have been so tired, and I should not have been having terrible brain fog and being so tired, but like a tired that you can't describe to somebody, a tired that's in the back of your eyes, and no matter how much you sleep, you're still tired and anxious and irritable. And don't you all just want to go through life feeling good? Now, sometimes your body's a little broken, and that's okay. If you find the right things to take for your body and you find the right doctor, well, fight's a good word. If you fight for the right doctor to help take care of you, you're going to be in a better place than you were if you hadn't have done that. So be open to the possibility that not everything needs to come from a pharmacy. Be open to the possibility of natural herbal kind of supplements. Now, again, do not self-medicate. Talk to your doctor before you do anything. But, back in the days before there was antibiotics, people really did take things to help them. And so I'm not saying don't take medication. I'm a huge promoter of medication. This is my Nature Thyroid. This is my thyroid medication. I take it every single morning. But, also consider other options. Consider talking to a doctor who's a little bit more open-minded. Consider talking to a doctor who doesn't just treat what he sees, but really the whole person and the whole body and all the different moving parts, because I'm on my way to mending myself, and it's going to be a journey, and I'm going to take a few steps backwards before I take all my steps forward, and that's okay. But as long as you know that you're doing the best for you, because again, you're in control. When you're in the doctor's office, you're the only one that cares about you the most than anybody else, right? Like, your doctor can be amazing, and I know my doctor cares about me, but I'm the one who has to live inside my body every single day, day in and day out, and I'm the only one that's going to take care of myself in the best way. So I want to encourage you guys to really be your best advocate and really educate yourself and really help yourself. If you have any of these issues that we talked about, maybe look into the possibility that there might be something else wrong, and you're not just tired because you have a bunch of kids, and you're not just stressed out because you have a stressful job, but there might be something else going on. And if anybody would like some links to the different things that I'm using, please let me know. I will link them below. But if you guys could do me one favor, clearly you see I'm passionate about this topic. Yes, I want everybody to be as healthy as they can be, and I want everyone to be their own advocate. Could you share this onto your wall so that other people in your life who are suffering with any of these issues might have the chance to educate themselves and understand that it's not normal to always feel so tired, and that maybe they can go and take care of themselves? So if you could just, on the bottom left-hand side, there's a little share button, and if you could share this to your page, maybe more people will be able to be helped by the information that I shared today. Thank you so much for watching. Love you all. Talk to you later.